Well, how you guys doing? Welcome to Watson's Wagons. Today we're not talking about any kind of a vehicle. We're going to be talking about salt generator failure. And in my case, it is the T15 Hayward. I'm getting a low salt reading on this turbo cell, and it is about 6.5 years old. You can see where I took it apart. I cleaned it and then I damaged the collar here, so I got a new one of those, but I'm still getting a low salt reading. And looked online and I found this salt pool store platinum edition replacement for this unit, and it just showed up today. And this is how it arrived, all the way from Australia. Now that kind of concerns me because when you're on the website, their address is listed as Knoxville, Kentucky. So I'm already feeling skittish about it, and there aren't very many good reviews online, but this is how it traveled all the way across the world. And you can just see where the box is, you know, it freaks me out. So I'm gonna open this up in front of everybody so you can see how it arrived. And I hope to God it's in a solid piece and not broken. So let's do it. All right, here goes nothing. You're gonna ship this thing across the planet. You really ought to pack it better than this. Here's what I'm looking at. Bubble wrap. All right, there doesn't appear to be any visible damage. So let me check the couplings to make sure they fit. So this is the replacement coupling, and I'm going to replumb everything. But I think first I'm going to go ahead and hook this up and test it. But just want to make sure that we thread on there good. So it does fit. So let's go ahead and just temporarily install this, get the system running, and see if this thing generates the way it's supposed to. Supposed to have a 5-year warranty on it, and it doesn't appear to be used. So I hope you guys live by your word. All right, so the very first thing I'm looking at is the plug. Plugs look the same, other than the fact that there are 4 terminals missing in the new one, and I don't even know if those things are being used compared to the old one, and so we'll see. Okay, so I rerouted the pipes. I wanted it to come up and over so it's accessible. The old one was actually laying on the ground down here, and so trying to eliminate any vibration that the unit might experience. So it's up high. I'm letting the glue dry for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and fill the system up, pressure it, and see what happens. All right, the system's running, and no leaks. High salt. Yep, that's a way high reading. So I'm getting an actual salt reading of around 3,500 parts per million when I test the water itself, and we're getting a way high reading on the system here. So I'm going to go into the settings to make sure that this still recognizes a T15 salt cell. So the sun's in my eyes, but with the system's reading way too high, and my salt content was high to begin with, but this is reading like another 2,000 freaking ppm higher than what the actual reading is in the pool. So I'm adding water to the pool now, and I'm going to take it up to about 3/4 of where the skimmer is, and you can see I have quite a ways to go to bring the salt level down by adding fresh water. From what I'm reading at these aftermarket cells, once you hit below a certain threshold, it'll kick on and start generating chlorine. You just don't need as much in the pool to make that happen. So we'll see if that works. If it doesn't, I'm going to lodge a complaint to the company, who I don't expect to get any feedback from. So I left the bad unit in here as the dummy piece so the water can go ahead and flow. I went ahead and filled up the new one with half pool water, okay, which is reading about somewhere in that 3,500 range, and then I added the other half with fresh water, kind of capped it off, mixed it a little bit, and did a test. And so I'm sitting somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 ppm. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the pool system on. The flow switch will engage, and this thing should sense lower salt, and if it does, we're going to prove a point here to see if this thing's actually going to generate some chlorine. So let's give it a shot and see what happens. Now, I don't know if I have this on tight enough, it might leak, but hang on a minute. All right, so now that we've did that and we let it run for a minute, salt level at 5,900. It's still thinking, but it is generating chlorine gas now. Okay, and that's what we want to see. So the system wants the pool to be, fairly diluted with salt in order to work. So we're going to have to bring the salt level down in the system to generate chlorine. So that's working. Still giving me a 5,900. Interesting. So let's go ahead and do a diagnostic. Let's see what's going to happen here. Now we're at 3,200, and that's what it's reading, which is good. So what we actually have in here is between 2,000 and 2,500, but it thinks that it's at 35 and operational. So the solution to this particular unit is to reduce the salt level in your pool, and I think you're going to be fine. So let me do that, and we'll check the system again tomorrow. For now, we proved that this replacement cell works on less salt, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? Get the salt level down between 2,000 and 2,500 ppm, and then check your system and see what happens. Because I'm seeing a lot of complaints online right now about this thing not working and being defective, and the company's coming back to people saying, nah, your board's defective, and what's really happening is that their sensors are reading differently than what Hayward is, okay? Simple as that. So I am back at the next day, and you can see that this water is crystal clear, and I drained about, I don't know, 8-10 inches of water and refilled it with this regular garden hose stuff because I over treated this with salt when everything started. All right, so once I did that, the salt cell automatically recognized the change, what do you call it, salinity levels or whatever, and it is now producing chlorine gas like it's supposed to. And it's been running fine ever since. In fact, it was probably about 2 hours ago when the readings came down enough for this to recognize it and start generating chlorine. Now, because it has a sensor issue, the readings in there are still going to show high, even though your actual pool level is down. I'm going to put this in the wind column, okay? And as long as this thing keeps generating like it is, and I keep that in the 2,000, 2,500, maybe 3,000 range, this unit is working. So, before you guys freak out, drop that salt level, maybe try the floor test like I did, and mix you up some, a little bit of pool water and some fresh water and get that salinity down and do it. I call it a bench test, but right now I'm happy, and I'm only into this for $350 some or whatever it was. But I was skeptical because of all the reviews that I was seeing. But right now, I'm working. Now, if there's a problem, and let's say another week or another month from now or 3 months from now, I have a failure, well, then I'll come back and I'll put something in the chat. But until then, good luck.